dee da dee da dee da dee. La dee da dee da dee da dee. La dee da dee da dee da dee. La 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 dee da dee da dee. We're here. Hello. Hi. This is where we're at now. I tried to do a whole bunch of stuff, and none of it worked. And so here we are. I should be at work right now because, it is a work night Saturday. Usually not home come 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock on a Saturday. But I am today because of the incredulous amount of snow on the southern East Coast. It's been about it hasn't stopped snowing all day. It was supposed to stop around 7 and it's still kind of going. So that's crazy. But, not like I'm not, okay. Not to brag, not to toot my own horn, not to call myself better than the next man, but I lived in Colorado for 3 years, so I know a heavy snow, okay? I'm used to a heavy snow. I'm used to snow up to your shins, walking to school in it. That ain't nothing new to me, okay? Mile both ways, right? Been there, done that. However, I'm back in the southern East Coast. This is not a snowy environment. I live in Greensboro. This is not somewhere that is a very notoriously snowy environment. It's very urban. It's not a lot of mountains. Go up north a little bit, yes, but I didn't think the kick drift would be so fucking massive. So anyway, I was like, well, let me expend my energy somehow, and I was like, here, I can do this, and I tried to do a bunch of stuff, and that's led us to where we are now, where I'm currently using this Rode mic instead of my AKG. Every time I do something, it's based off this idea of I could do this better. And then I try and improve it in whatever way I think is necessary or I think is a good fit. And then I just realize, so what I had before was working and I didn't need to change it. I always have one of those moments. It's and it's whoops, you know what I mean? What are you gonna do, right? And it happens every time. So I was like, I want to get rid of the halo from the green screen, right? It works better, it's more immersive if it feels like I'm in those environments, but the halo doesn't help. Now I could do a fill correction, but then it does the thing where it turns my lips less red. And the other solution is to move the green screen back and give it its own independent lighting, which I would do, but I am I'm learning astonishingly fast. This office is not built for streaming, what are you gonna do, right? The placement is a little wonky, wacky tubular, but it's not like I couldn't do it. I just have to do massive rearranging. That's crazy. I don't have the mental fortitude to do that on any given day. But I tried to do some stuff. I tried to move the green screen back, and then it came into issues with location, and it's well, maybe I need to move the camera back. Well, I can't do that without moving my desk into the middle of the room. It's just not very convenient. All of these aspects, to keep the camera back so that way I could crop the image and it still maintains some semblance of something, but then if I were to pull it back, it'd be oh wow, right now I'm sitting pretty far from my computer. Actually, I'm a good, this right here is the edge of my desk. I'm a full arm's length out from the edge of my desk. It's pretty far, you understand? So this is just where I'm at with it. I'm hoping that the mic isn't doing the unplug noise that it does. It's a fucking trip, this one. This cord is a mile long. And this is the one that came with the Rode mic, and it does not stay connected. There is something wrong with the pins in this thing to where if it's even slightly disconnected, you're gonna hear it. Oh boy, the mic will let you hear it. It's probably why I should put the direct monitoring on. I'm afraid to fucking move it. I feel like if I move it, it's gonna do that. That's the last thing I need right now. It is fucking shoot myself. So anyway, I'm here and doing this because otherwise I would just show you outside. It's pretty fucking sick. I went out at like 5 to clean my car, you know, because I was like, oh, maybe I'll go to work, right? Maybe I'll give it a shot. Maybe I'll drive it, you know. And I wanted to like clear the windshield and all that. I wanted to clear it all and see if it was good to move. I was gonna try and use my car to like shovel snow because my Prius is pretty fucking low to the ground. It's kind of crazy. So like it catches on ice a lot and curbs and other various low items like parking spots and curbs, and it kind of sucks a little bit. So I was like, maybe I can use this functionality, this ginormous bottom that hangs as like a shovel to get itself out of the snow. And at first I got stuck. I got video evidence, but then I got unstuck because of course I'm gonna get unstuck. I know how to drive. And then I was like, I probably could drive to work. And then I looked at the road conditions. And last night, or this morning, coming from work, because it started to snow an entire 12 hours before it was supposed to. It was supposed to start at 7 a.m. today, and it started at 7-ish p.m. yesterday, last night. And I had to work 10 to 6. Going up was fine. You know, the roads were good, but it was coming back home that was killer. And there was a lot of, like, the roads were not great. I'll admit, I made it. I know how to drive it, but I have videos of trying to drive that shit, and there were times where it was like, oh, I really could actually just careen off the road, and I wouldn't be able to tell when it happened. Like, I could, like, because after a while, like, I would try to use the strips, but it was so bad where there were times where I was in the middle lane thinking I was in the left lane, like, just in the middle of it, even with other cars around, because the right lane was the only lane that actually had like tire tracks in it, right? But everybody that was in that lane, it's just me being an impatient bastard, because everybody in that right lane was going like, it's a 70-mile-an-hour zone. It's a fucking interstate. Everybody's going goddamn 40, 45. What, do you not trust yourself? You don't trust your vehicle? Put some goddamn faith in your abilities as a human to operate and not die. You know, and I got faith in me. Me and old Miss Shisha. We made it through a lot in this time on this planet together. We've made it through a hell of a lot of shit. So to not trust her to be able to get me home, to get me back safe, my trusty chariot, my steed, I'm not gonna do that. So I'll risk life and limb to get home. Does that mean I've sold my soul for the ability to get some peace and quiet? So be it. You know, I have this philosophy. And I'm kind of working on it. I'm workshopping it a little bit, so take it with a grain of salt. But to me, the concept of selling out, I have this thought on the concept of selling out, which is, it's what you sell out for, like what you desire the most, like, say, over your life. Like, the thing, like, I've heard people on, like, when it was, it's been snowy on the East Coast for, like, a week. It was last Saturday we had the ice storm. This Saturday we have the snowstorm. Conditions here have been cold. And I've heard people talk about, some people have valid reason, they need a job. And so when they say like, oh, I don't have the points to not come in, it's like, I get that. But like, for people that are like, I need money, I get that too. But there are some people, this seems like I'm running myself in a circle, there are some people who are willing to like come in just to make a paycheck, because they want money that bad. Like, they're willing to risk their lives to go in for money. And one thing, I never want to trod on somebody at their lowest, but there are some people, like, within hustle culture and all that make money their abject solution to everything, right? Like, if you are willing to die for money, and that's like for anything, like knowing the risks of something and still being like, well, if I die chasing the bag, that's crazy, right? Doing stuff just for the sake of getting more money, that to me is like selling your soul, because you're putting your soul at less value than whatever you're searching for. So it's like, oh, if you put the pursuit of I don't know, if we're going biblical, let's put lust out there. If you're pursuing lust and you're just fucking everything and everybody and constantly getting intimate, at some point you've sold your soul for sex. Like, that's what you've done. At some point you cross that line and your own life becomes less important. I don't know. I assume you would have to, like, if you do anything too much, it can become an addiction. So if you're constantly having sex all the time, I would assume at some point you have like a psychological need for it. It's like addictive. So I would think that once you pass that point where I got this little thumb hold. You hear that? You hear how hollow this is? It's a Rode mic. It's really hollow inside of here. You got to be really careful. After a while, it's like you definitely sold your soul for the sexual for the physical manifestation of the pleasure, because you don't care what's gonna happen to you. You just want to keep going. And the same applies for, I don't really want to go biblical, but it just kind of did. But you know, that's what I'm saying. I'm workshopping it. I'm fleshing it out because it's a little rough. So it's not got many legs. Really, the only thing I've been able to like. And I mean, I guess fame, it's really just the things that you normally sell out for, which is money and fame and stuff. But I think it can be applied to anything. Sell your soul for drugs if you like them enough. If you chase the dragon more than, like, I mean, obviously that's one too. But maybe that's just the like, you know, mythical. That's just the mystical way of looking at addiction, is like you've sold your soul to it because you care about this one thing more than your own life. So that feels like it's like the spiritual like word for addiction. Before we knew what addiction was, that's what we did. It was like, oh, you sold your soul. You only care about the pursuit of this gold piece. You must have sold your soul for it. Right? Why do you care so much about it? I don't care about it that much. It's like I got addicted to it. I don't know. I grabbed one. I liked the way it felt, and I just kept picking them up. I didn't stop. I never stopped to put them down. And that's just, you know, sold my soul. Yeah, well, at least my fucking earthly body's gonna die on a pile of fucking gold like a dragon. How sick is that? That's the part they don't tell you about. Because yeah, you're gonna die, but you're gonna die doing something. It's gonna be kick ass. Yeah, you thought this whole time I was saying that I don't want to sell my soul. You probably already assumed by the way I was speaking that I was on the side of good morals and not not being a part of things like not. You thought it of me that I was going to say that I am a virtuous individual who has no. God damn it! You thought I was gonna. I'm just gonna let it go. Moving on from that, that was a thought that I had that was like it didn't really pan out. Like, it's panning out as I'm fleshing it out, but I gotta flesh it out some more. I just thought I'd run it by you. So when in the title here I said book ideas stuff. It's not very grammatically correct, I'll give you that, but I put in book ideas stuff because I wanted to run some book ideas out and just kind of have them, you know, out there. Like, you guys aren't gonna understand this, I guess, unless you've watched my streams like a ghost watcher since 2023. You wouldn't understand this, but I've been working on a book called Journey. It's a working title. I don't have a title for it. What am I gonna say? Naive boy goes to Earth. Oh, space alien come down to visit you. It's not a good title. So I'm still kind of thinking about that. It's like a literary coming of age, but like for almost adults. Yeah, like it's like a it's like it's like it's like a coming of age for young adults rather than like you know, teenagers or children or whatever. It's a coming of age for tackling adulthood, I think, in a very abstract narrative, with the concept of coming home, more so like going back to where your roots are. That's the general idea. Main character, Diamante, no last name, Diamante Suarez, that's his new last name. He is a space alien living on the planet of Zixon. Zipitas is the city that he currently stays in. He lives in a collection of honeycombs. These honeycombs take the shape of skyscrapers that expand to floor 50, with floors 49 and below containing anyone that is not part of the 1%, the elite. The elite are at the very top of the buildings, and the not elite are down at the bottom. I got a little quiet there, and I think that kind of messed the audio levels. I had direct monitor on, so I hadn't focused on my audio. I was going quiet. I was being quiet. I'm sorry. So you have multiple levels in these skyscrapers. It's a very simple structure. The skyscraper floors 1 through 25 do not exist, and we do not talk about them. And if you are caught attempting to go down into, I gotta remember to go loud. If you're caught attempting to go down within these floors 1 through 25, which don't exist, and you would find nothing because it's only the concrete floor. If you were to say venture down, the crime committed, the crime that you have committed is punishable by death. Is kind of where we're at with that. So, Diamante from the planet of Zixan, good guy, I think. Zixan might be the city, planet is Epitas. I always confuse these things. It's sci-fi, and I always get confused on my planets and my naming conventions because I usually just, and there's like, oh look, that person's gonna be named Sephora. Fuck, sounds like I was gonna Sephora. Actually, you know, all things considered, I have had a character in my writing with like a name that's like definitely felt forced. It was Sephrina, I think it was. It was like Sephrine. It was, here's the thing. I have a thing for S names, specifically for women characters, and also sometimes love interests. It's just an interesting thought that I had. Because Sephrine or whatever would have been what I wanted my ideal guy, which was my ideal me, which was a bank robber and like an agile guy and a defender of the weak and a bank robber, but like a Robin Hood bank robber. Did I mention that? I had a self-insert character. His name was Alexander. It's my middle name, and for a while I grew up and I hated Lede because it was like, oh my god, that's a fucking weird name. You have 2 fucking uppercase consonants, dude. Weird. You're a fucking freak. Ladai? You wanna die? Nah, I never heard anyone say that. They actually usually are very embarrassed. They're usually very embarrassed when they get my name wrong. And I don't know if that's because I put pressure on them. You know, I'm just standing there like, every time when I'm at work, right? People will see my name tag and they'll read it and they'll go, how do you pronounce your name? And my response to it is always, give it a shot. Do your best. I like to hear you pronounce it. I could tell you, but it's more fun for me to, I want to see you guess because you have a thought in your head. Anytime somebody asks you how to pronounce your name, it's because they think on how to pronounce it, but they don't want to be rude and mispronounce it. I've had people mispronounce it with all of the confidence in the world, like, and it's very interesting because it's not like I don't like those people, but I don't like those people. Because don't be loud and wrong, right? It's always that. Like, if you're gonna be loudly be like, how do you pronounce your name, man? It looks cool. Rather than, Ladai! I'm sorry. Rather than just screaming my name, wrong pronunciation out at the top of your lungs because you want to get my attention for something that has nothing to do with you, right? It's like some, and it's, you know, it's an interesting intersect. You wouldn't believe it, but it seems like in most cases, I'd say about 90% of cases, alcohol is involved. And usually one party is hammered. And I gotta be honest, there's nothing like watching money when you're drunk, so I don't, you know, usually. Somebody's getting misunderstood. That's a joke. It was an attempt at one. I was trying to do misdirection. Both magicians and comedians utilize misdirection as a part of their act. I thought that would, you know, I like magic and I like trying to be funny, so I thought I would do both. And I don't know if it paid off because I don't think I set that up well. That's why I couldn't do stand up. I'm very conversationally funny. Have you heard that before? Has anyone ever has anyone ever told you that you're funny? or that they think you should do stand up. And have you ever just like heard that enough times to go, I don't think these people that are saying that actually like watch stand up. I think that they just assume being funny is analogous to being able to perform on a stage and be funny, right? Because it's one thing. Look, if we're having a conversation, we're bantering, we're riffing, I'm good at improv. I'm good at coming up with stuff on the fly and keeping you entertained. That does not mean I can do that for an hour. There is a secondary external factor that I am not currently, like, that is not gained from staying on a stage. When you're on a stage, the spotlight is on you and you alone. You have to extend your spotlight to the audience to have like an audience participation moment. In essence, it's supposed to be a one person, one act show, right? It's just supposed to be an hour of entertainment, or however long length you do your set. It's just supposed to be entertainment where you are telling them jokes and they are laughing. They're not having a conversation. You don't typically talk to them unless you do crowd work. You don't typically talk to your audience to have like a banter to riff off of. But as we've seen in recent times, it seems that crowd work is the best way to engage and like raise engagement, especially for online stuff, because improv is sales. Improv is always sold. I don't think I can remember a time in my life where improv wasn't like, oh man, like it's such a cool skill. Like, oh look, these actors actually weren't supposed to say that line. They actually ad-libbed it. It was like the funniest thing, and they actually made it up on the spot. Like, improv is always talked in that sort of way, and it's weird because theater kids, we're getting into a real tangent here. Theater kids are often maligned for being weird, and not unjustly, but I feel like it's a vicious cycle. Can I say that? I feel like for theater, it's a vicious cycle for band and theater kids, and I'm putting my foot down for all of us. It's okay, listen. Yes, theater kids, band kids are weird. Abso-fucking-lutely. I can't say all the reasons why somebody would be driven to hide behind a character or an instrument. You know, I don't claim to know the things that would put anybody in that position, but I know for me, it's like, oh, I mean, you'd have to be a little weird to want to be other people other than yourself, right? You would have to be a little weird to not want to sing, but to be the one in the background who's just creating the stuff that nobody really thinks about. You know what I mean? Unless you like give extra attention to it, or like, you know what I mean? But in general, you know, most out of a crowd of 100 people, I'm sure it's not 90% thinking about the bass player of the band. You get me? Like, it's probably a cool, like, out of 100, it's probably 10 people who are like, that fucking bass line rips. Cool. Unless it's a bass-centered band with a bass, like, geared audience, right? It's just, my point is, if there's a singer in that band, they're gonna come for the singer, right? Choir kids don't get grouped into the band kid discussion. And I think, before we even get on to the main, what I was getting at, the meat and taters of that, I just want to put my foot down and say, choir kids don't catch nearly the same shit that band kids catch. And I don't get that. Because singing isn't even that cool. You're singing in a group of people and it's not even that cool because I can do that with 3 guitars and a fucking bass lick, dude. Shut up. Fuck you. I'm sorry, that was rude. But I just don't understand the band kid, theater kid hate train. Like, choir kids mingle with band kids. I have seen the two groups interact and they are weird. One's just better at hiding it. Okay? Anyway, back to my point. I think the theater kid, band kid hate is a self-fulfilling prophecy because, yes, we're weird. And like I said, the elements that would get you to want to act and people, you could say whatever you want, but I'd say there's something there. It's just how it goes, okay? Mentally, I don't know. We just have been doing it for all of history. It's just one of those things where, like, I don't need to hunt and kill. I'd rather just talk and laugh. It's like, as somebody who does these things, it just feels like a really big cop out from having to do any like manual work. It's like, no, guys, listen. I'm weak, right? I'm small, I'm thin, I'm frail. I can't throw a spear like you guys can. You know, I'm not out there crawling in the muck. I'm not in the weeds. Sabretooth's gonna see me. He's just gonna. He won't even eat me. That's the worst part. He'll just gore me and throw me to the side. I'm not even worth eating, guys. Come on. Listen, but, when you guys get home, right? When you guys go kill that Sabretooth, you bring that carcass back to me. Guess what? I'll be waiting right here with a hot fire and a story about a butterfly I followed through the woods. And I think that's going to be a pretty fucking sick time, guys. You get to unwind, and I don't have to die. And that's where the first Theater Kid started, and I feel like it just kind of carried on from there. Storytellers, we love them to death, but I feel like it's a cop-out. Unless you're like one of those storytellers that actually like travels and is like writing based on your experiences. In that case, it's like, okay, whatever, I guess. But kind of just takes the wind out of my sails. So we're going to pretend those people don't exist, because most Theater Kids aren't the ones writing the screenplays anyway. So we fucking funneled it back around. Who's out here exploring Egypt and also taking sixth grade performance arts? Wasn't me. Anyway, point is, we are weird. Yes, we're outwardly weird, and because of the medium in which we perform, band and theater, there is an element to it where we have to be weird to stand out. And it's like, it's very vocal and it's very expressive, and you're supposed to be out and loud, and you're supposed to draw attention because that's whatever, right? Yes, we do that, and a lot of times there's a lack of self-awareness because nobody's telling it. Like, people are telling us we're weird, and then other people are like, yeah, but it's cool, man. I just want to say the part of the cycle that gets me is, look, we're weird, but in order for the theater kid stigma to stick, you gotta keep making fun of people, and we're just out here having fun. Make fun of the band kid, theater kids who, like, well, I don't know if we should condone it. Make fun of the ones who are actively, like, harming other people. I don't know what would be shitty behavior that isn't just people having fun and being weird and cringe because they're young, right? What, like, I mean, yes, destructive things, sure, but if somebody is weird, don't bully, I guess. I don't fucking know. I mean, I don't know. I think there's ways of being funny that doesn't involve bullying, but bullying is a part of your growing up, so I don't know. What was the point of that? Oh, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because people are still going to bully theater kids and band kids no matter how normalized weirdness is. There's just like a level of it that is just untouchable by these kids. Like, the only ones that almost usurped it were like anime, like, you know, K-pop anime stans. I think those are the only people that, like, as a group collective, everybody just kind of looks at with like a, you know, like a questioning distaste. K-pop is a little more normalized because it's teenage girls, and people are okay with teenage girls being weird. It's like an insulated thing. Like, there's weird behavior they do, but it's like cliquish. It's weird, right? We have all sorts of weird standards and stereotypes and double standards for men and women. It's actually kind of crazy because it's crazy. We don't talk about the stuff that we normalize, that we want to keep. We don't often talk about them in the same way, which I find interesting. But of course, these are all surface level. I feel like Andrew Schultz right now. I'm making some really great surface level thoughts here. I feel like I'm really clicking onto the idea of philosophy right now. I think I'm really starting to like dig a little. I'm like, at first I was at the grass. Now I feel like I'm at the soil. So I think we're making good progress. But I was supposed to be talking about my book, but I was on theater kid, band kids, and I was on theater kid, band kids because I'm a theater kid, and I don't understand what that had to do with the concept of the book itself. So we're going to try and get back to Journey. Oh, I was talking about characters in my previous works when I was in like middle school and stuff, all having love interests with a name that start with S, and I was talking about how Alexander was my ideal version of me, and which also means that Sapphire, whatever her name was, in that would imply that she also was my ideal, like, partner, I guess, or like fantasy. Feels weird to say when we're talking about a child's work, you know. Crush. My ideal crush feels better. And yeah, that's what it did. When I wanted, the character of Alexander was 18, and I was not. I was very far from it. It would actually, I think it would be a little worse if I was 18 or close to it when I wrote that character. I think it's a saving grace that I was like 12. I still had some years on me to get there. So my weird fantasy idea, idolization of myself in the future still could be valid. It's like, I mean, it wasn't really gonna happen, but it was like in my head, I'm like, I got a pretty good chance of getting really, really nimble and deft and like agile and like fox. I was like, it's possible for me. I can do that. I can't do that. I don't think I'm able to. I think I missed the boat at nearing 25. I think I missed the boat on that one. God damn it. Oh my God, I'm nearing 25. What the fuck? Oh. That makes me sick to my stomach. Makes me sick to my stomachs, fam. I wish I knew where I was going with all this. Oh, right. Getting back to the book. Alexander... Shit. There we go. Okay. Getting back to the book of Journey, not Alexander, because I don't think we need to spend any more time on that. I think we've kind of covered all that we're going to cover about that. But in a Journey, Diamante lives on this planet. And this planet is a corporatocracy. It is absolutely fundamentally run by companies. For inspiration, you can look to like things like Cyberpunk 2077 or Cyberpunk, the series, the tabletop game. Really any sort of cyberpunk media. Big conglomerate companies that run everything. It's classic shit. One, like the 0.001% of the elite have all the shit. Just some general stuff like, all the rich and powerful. I have parody names for the founders of the colonizers of the planet, right? I have their names are just fucking really cheesy parodies of the elite that are currently existing right now, like the top percentage of people that exist right now. Bezos and Musk and Gates and Buffett and whoever made Louis Vuitton, I think, is in there. I needed like 8 people because there's got to be a skyscraper for each person. It just made sense, right? Like, you get it. There was a science behind it. So these skyscrapers are all connected, and they have like a web-like structure. And they have rocket pads and all sorts of stuff. But this planet was interesting because this planet fought back. This is a little lore stuff. This planet, unlike Earth, actually took a more defensive approach to the exploitation of humanity, where it receded its seas and its water sources and kind of left where, like the area where the original humans settled, kind of a barren wasteland. So they now have to go out and look to the stars and like go to other planets and stuff to actually, engage and do sort of. They have like a insular food system that kind of works, but overall, it is not a great living condition for the poor. It's so far in the future that I figure they'll have stuff. I'm not gonna think scientifically on it because we only really spend like 5% of the book on Zepitos to begin with. Just the introduction and just the ending. The rest of the book is spent on Earth. I'm not going to spoil it here because I only spoil it for the close friends and family in my life. I don't spoil my work, my artistic masterpieces, my tour de force, my fucking my god damn it. It's only when I do this. It's only when I stream that I forget magnum opus. I could never just share the ending of my magnum opus for free, but I don't mind giving you some game. Okay. So, one of the biggest things that happens in the book is our main character, Diamante, ends up marooned on Earth for roughly 5 years. I believe I set the timeline to. And he finds himself between 2 warring clans and a bombed out wasteland. Those are the 3 places that he spends on Earth with, various stories and things and lessons and stuff learned while on the planet. But his whole goal is to get back home. And the world doesn't work in a week, right? Like I love the media that I've consumed, but so much of the media that I have consumed is very, like, especially growing up, was very like what's the word, quick, right? The narratives usually had like I'm thinking like a Percy Jackson, a YA novel. The narratives usually span the course of like a certain there's a very short destinational time. And maybe I'm just crazy because I'm thinking Cirque du Freak. It's like 9 books and takes the place of like 6 years. But you see, that's what I mean. 9 books and it takes like 6 years. Most of the little books contain their own little stories that only take like as the books start to grow on, they start to get longer as we get further into the narrative. But it starts with like a week, 2 weeks, a month. And we just have like these stories playing out, and each book is that set amount of time and that set adventure. And then to the end where we're finally getting years, and then it's kind of like timeless because we end up on like the end of that book is Mr. Fate. He actually, there's a whole lot. It's really hard to unpack the lore in that, but the character that helps Darren throughout the story is actually Darren. And then he has the chance to undo it all, and he stops himself from ever becoming a vampire. And yeah, that's basically how the book ends. He stops himself from becoming a vampire, but inevitably inflicts it on somebody else for them to go through the same torture. And it's not really a happy ending. It's really a bittersweet one, because it's not like anyone ends like, no one ends on a good thing. And I like that kind of macabre story, but basically that spits in the face of what I was saying, but also not really, because again, it ends around like when he's like 18. He stops being Darren and starts being like Harkin, which is the little amalgamation monster that Mr. Fate makes. I think it might not be his name, but Destiny, I think his name is Mr. Tiny. I think his name is Mr. Tiny and his first name is Dez, and they call it like, oh, Destiny, right? Like, because it's a whole lot of shit. There's a whole lot of shit in those books. But that takes place over the course of like 6 years. I think it ends around when he's like 18 or 19 or something like that, and it starts when he's 12-ish. Because he's also a middle schooler, which is when I picked it up. So it was like, of course, I had like a bond with the narrative, I think. That one's one, and Percy Jackson's like really short. Those books they have a short deadline of usually between a week and a month. That's usually how long the stories will last for. Of course, as time went on, they got bigger, leading to the series of like the Olympians' tales and all that, which is more of like a time jump because we don't actually see them all going through. It's more of a time skip because we have a little bit of time between the Rome series and the combination series. So it's like 2-year difference between them. And also his journey in like the Percy Jackson series, most of it takes place in the one element of time because he's there for summer camp. So again, we usually get time skips between each book. It's like he gets older, but we get a time skip, and the book only takes place between the element, like the story that it's particular, like, and that sounds dumb, but it's a short period of time, but I want my book to detail a long period of time. And obviously adult media is much more reminiscent of real life, which is time moves fast but also slow. Like 5 years seems like a lot until it's not. You know what I mean? It was 6 years ago, it was 2020. 5 years feels like a lot until it's not. 5 years ago, 2021, I wasn't thinking about what I was going to be doing in 2026. I wasn't thinking about that. You get what I mean? So, yeah, you start to, as you get older, and this is a funny thing about time, I've noticed this is probably also very surface level, but as you get older, I realize that time feels like it moves faster as you get older, not because it, like, it's all perspective, but time feels like it gets faster as you get older because it becomes less new. Everything you experience, you have experienced one more time. And every time you experience something, that time, it feels like it goes by faster, right? The more you walk a certain route, the quicker it feels like you do that route. That time just shoots by. You're used to all the landmarks and the things, and you already know how long it's supposed to take. The first time you walk that route, it is like that short, whatever, how long it is. Let's say you walk a 40-minute route. When you first walk that 40-minute route, it feels like you've been walking for an hour, hour and a half. You look at the time, it's like, oh my God, it's been 40 minutes. But it's because everything is new. Everything that you're seeing, because it's your first time, everything you're seeing is new to you, right? So your brain is making sure to slow down and process and like get it all, every piece of information. So you're getting so much, it feels like you've been doing so much. It feels like it's been a long time, but really it hasn't. And as you walk that route, that path, every time you get there, it gets shorter and shorter and shorter before it's like you're walking with you, like you invite somebody to walk the path, to go, yeah, it's just like 40 minutes. It's really nothing. By the time we get there, you won't even realize 40 minutes has passed. And then you take them and they're like, oh my God, you know, they get that same feeling of like, it's been so long. And it's like, no, it's weird, right? Like, it had to have two differing perspectives on time, two relative positions of time right there standing next to each other. Somebody who's walked a path for 100 times and somebody who's only walking it for the first time. Like, their perception of time will be different, even though they're both standing, like they're both in the same time. Like, nothing is different. They're both experiencing the same physical movement of time, right? Or whatever the fuck, or just space. All that's the same for both of them, but their internal perception of it is different, which is crazy to me. What is quick to one takes forever for another. And essentially my idea on life is that as you get older, of course 5 years is going to fly by, because once you've experienced 5 years, think about your first year of life probably felt like an eternity, because everything was new. Literally every single thing you lay your eyes on was new. Every single thing. So, like, of course our childhoods feel like they lasted forever. Of course a year, like, of course for a 6-year-old, Christmas is gonna feel like it takes a decade to reach. Of course school feels eternal, because a year feels eternal. Because school is only like 6 months of the year, half the year maybe, 3 months for summer, like a month for like 2 weeks for winter break, 2 weeks for spring. So like a month of extra breaks leaves you with like 5 or 6 months, I think, 6 or 7 or 8 months. 7. So it's 12 months in a year. You get 3 off, and then you have like a combo 1.5 months of breaks and stuff. It's like 4.5. And you're getting a 12. It's like 8. So it's like school is like 8 months out of the year. School is like an 8-month institution out of the year, and it feels like it lasts forever. 6th grade for me couldn't have ended sooner. It's the same shit, man. And then once you're done with all that, once you get out of school or out of college and all that, you start to realize, oh, a year really is nothing. This school shit, because every time you go to a new grade, what are you doing? You're experiencing new shit, right? It gets to a point where it's like, of course, like, and a year goes by so fast because the bulk of it's going to be the same shit. But when you're young and in school, you're learning new shit every day, because you are, like, by function of moving up a grade, you are learning new shit. Ergo, it always still feels like the same length of time, because you have the same people, and the same, like, outside of school probably moves pretty fucking fast. No wonder it's like, oh my God, it felt like I was in school forever today. But like, as soon as I get home, it felt like no time at all. Of course, because that's the same for you. When you get home and you do your nightly routine before your next day of school, that's the same thing. Same thing for when you go to work. But I think as an adult, it becomes so, like, it's so ingratiated, the 8-hour schedule, even from school, that after your first, like, year of working, like, an 8-hour job 5 days a week, it now starts to shoot by. Like, oh my God, it's and then every day, like, 8 hours feels like nothing because 4 hours feels like nothing, and 4 hours feels like nothing because 2 hours feels like nothing, and 2 hours feels like nothing because 20 minutes is gone in a blink of an eye, right? But when you first came out of that womb, every second was an eternity. Then every minute became an eternity. Then, and so on and so forth. As you, of course, a minute feels like nothing when you're not thinking about it. Like how many times have you stared at a clock for a minute and realized just how slow time moves when you're focused on it, and then looked away and looked back? Or, like, let's say you had to wait a minute for something, right? And the moment you look away to do this, and look back, it's been 2 minutes past what you were supposed to do. You know how many times I try? There's an EO list at my job, which is early out, which means that when you sign that list, when you sign it, you're put on a list of people that want to leave early. The higher up you are on the list, meaning the earlier you are on that list, the sooner you're gonna get out. Sometimes that means people who signed it my shift starts at 8, it opens up at 7. So people that signed it at 7 on the dot would be leaving at like 10 on a not so busy night. People that signed it at like, and I want you to understand, this is the craziest thing about it too. Before I even get in the tangent with that EO shit, people aren't fighting for like the first 10 minutes, right? It's not like a minute to minute thing. Oh, your spot is saved at 7, next person at 7:01. No, it's not a minute to minute thing. It's not something where gradually people will sign up for the EO up until 8, like I thought it would be. Like when somebody told me that it was like a fight for your spot kind of thing, I was like, oh, it's not bad. First couple times I signed the EO, I got out even when I signed it like later, but let me tell you, when people fight for that EO and to get on that list, especially for swing shift, you're trying to beat people by seconds. The first 5 names on that list will have signed at 7 on the dot. The next 10 signed at 7 on the dot, 1 second. 7:00:01. God forbid you sign it at 7:00:05. You're not leaving. You don't go home. You got to stay your whole shift tonight. You're at the bottom of the list. 50 people, well, it would be more like 25 people signed. You're 26. Sorry. That's what EO is at a casino. That's early out. And it's so privileged. It's such a privilege to be able to sign a piece of paper that says I can leave early if the business is not like pulling in people. It's such a fucking privilege to have that. And it's so crazy to see how many people, dealers especially, get spoiled. Kind of like fucking get super entitled about their place on the EO, forgetting that is entirely optional and does not need to exist. And I just always I fucking hate the casino for the management side, like not like upper management, like the business side of the casino, not the entertainment side of the casino. I despise it truly, because it does not care about its people. It cares about its money, as do most companies, all companies. It cares about the bottom line. It cares about making a profit, and that profit does not go to me, because our wages are subsidized by tips. They give us $5 an hour plus 7 if we don't meet minimum wage on the tips. So it's like if we don't get to 12 on the tips, they give us that, because if they didn't, we are all fully grown adults. By merit of the industry, you have to be 21 at least to work there. Minimum requirement to work there is 21, at least for dealers. People that aren't working in the dealing side of things, it's different, because like if you're working food and beverage, it's whatever. As you're working non-table games, you don't have to be 21. Like you can work in the kitchens at 18 and shit like that, But for a dealer, off the merit of the industry it is in, you have to be 21 years or older. So getting paid $5 an hour or even $12 an hour by that metric is not okay. It is not okay. That's just not okay. We are grown adults, meaning we have houses to pay for, apartments, rents, incredible amounts of bills. Things are getting more expensive. They played with our money too fucking much for me to like them. They refuse to give floors. I'm divulging stuff I probably shouldn't, but it's not like terrible things, it's just the truth. The industry standard is roughly around like $30 to $35 an hour for full-time floors. They won't pay more than 27. It's fucking crazy. Like people leave to go to other casinos because they're offering like just sign-on bonuses. We don't even we gotta fight for fucking a 12-cent raise. Shit like that. That's not my immediate group. That's not the entertainment. That's not swing shift, day shift, or grave shift. That's none of that. That's the people at the very top. The people that are signing our checks and shit. That's those people that don't give a fuck. And I don't give a fuck about them. Same way. So don't let it get confused that when I applaud an element of the job, I am applauding the fact that it got done, not so much the people that did it. I'm applauding the fact that it's there, right? That it's a standard, because there was a time when it wouldn't have been, right? Like, the company does not pay. Like, the people that technically pay my bills are the patrons of the casino, the people that tip. Those are the people that are paying my bills, the tippers. The casino and doing it, people, and that's one of the things too. People that are new to the casino or aren't in there often fail to realize that it is not quite the image you assumed in your head based on the media you've consumed. Like, I'm not in cabal with the casino owners. I'm not fucking making money under the table, throwing games, fixing it. Like, I don't personally, as a dealer, have an incentive to cheat or do anything crazy because I'd lose my job. I have to, like, me personally, I would bear the full responsibility of fucking up. I would lose my license. Like, the casino would be fine. I would fuck up. It would be bad for me. But it's outside of that, it's like people being like, oh yeah, you're probably the house's favorite dealer. They probably pay you big bucks. I could make them $1 million in a night and they still wouldn't fucking, they wouldn't toss shit my way. I'd have to fight them to give me their fucking monopoly bucks. I'd have to like go into HR and be like, I made the company $1 million. Can I at least get 5,000 monopoly bucks to buy a fucking, like, a goddamn like a fucking cereal box or something? Like, that's essentially what it is. Oh, I wanna like, it's, I'm not gonna talk about it, but 5,000, that's enough to get, I think, $50 worth of stuff. I don't know, but made him $1 million, made 50 back. Hey, there's no amount of money there's no amount of like free stuff or money that they could give you that would match the amount of money that we pull into for them on a daily basis, right? If we're making $36,000 in tips, imagine how much they're making, because the tip money is coming from the people, and the people are only tipping us with money that they get from the casino. So, in a roundabout way, the casino is kind of paying my bills, but we're not going to talk about that. My point was that if we get $36,000, the casino's probably getting 10 times that, right? In a night. Anyway, fuck. What was I talking about that got me to the casino? I'm fucking fairy dust. I don't know how I got here. Anyhoozle, yeah, so Journey, Diamante's story, gets stuck on Earth for about 5 years. I remember why I was doing a tangent about time and how the perception of time is so fucking wibbly wobbly, and it's nearly impossible to say that time isn't a man-made construct when, like I said, two people can perceive two different versions of time itself based on their level of experience with that thing, right? The shift for somebody who has worked for 20 years is much shorter than the shift for somebody who just got hired yesterday. Their 8 hours is not the same 8 hours as somebody who is a veteran. It's just how it goes. It's just the perception of time. And anywho, so 5 years he's going to spend on that planet. And I want the 5 years to feel like it does in reality, which is you jump from, in your memories, key moment to key moment and kind of just forget all the stuff that you do every year, right? I forget all the travel time. Literally, as soon as I leave from work, I'm at home. I try and, I've said it once and I'm going to say it again, that once I hit 25, I'm done aging. I will not age a day after that. I will be 25 forever. My brain will be developed, and I will be 25 for the rest of my life. That's the Prince method. But, yeah, I'm going to hit 25. I'm not going to age anymore. And I try and use time now to my advantage. This might sound a little crazy, but I try and use time to my advantage. And you might be asking yourself, what do you mean using time to your advantage? And that is to say that if time is relative and our ability to move through it is based on our perception, right? To me, that's why I say things like sleep. Sleep is time travel, because your consciousness disappears for a second and then it pops up in a different time entirely. How's that not time travel? You blink out of existence, you blink back into existence. That's time travel. You blink and the only difference is you just can't go backwards. as far as we know. Who's to say we haven't? Anyway, like, but just from like a pure, like, technically yes, but no, but yes. And so I say it as a fun little thing, and time I try and use to my advantage by essentially doing what I just did or a little bit earlier about the 4 hours is 2 hours, right? If I can do 4 hours, I can do 8, because 8 is 4, 4 is 2, 2 is nothing. That is essentially how I do it. I get through a shift because I come in and, okay, I get my first hour of new shit. It's the same way I broke down like growing up and getting older in time. I get my first hour of new shit. I come into the shift and I experience a bunch of things that I haven't experienced before for whatever reason, so my first hour is incredibly slow and every minute feels grating. Cool. It's after my first break that time starts to ramp forward. Before I know it, I'm on my next break. Before I know it, I'm on my next break. And by then, I'm damn near gone home. If I'm dealing, then by the time I get to that third break, it's already 12. One thing I hate and I cannot stand, I truly despise, especially when I'm at work, is people that'll go, oh my God, it's only 12. It's only this, that, it's only 1. You know what that implies? That is a negative connotation. That implies a bad thing. That implies that it is bad and that you are not happy that it is only 1 a.m. If it's 1 a.m., we go home in 3 hours. We just spent the last 5 hours here. If you're telling me that it's like, come on, you can't handle the last, you already did 5. What's 3 to 5? You've already done the bulk of it. Now you just got to power through the rest. It's going to feel like nothing. By the time you go on your next break, it's now an hour and a half. What's the problem? So that's why I can't stand when people do like, oh, it's only this time. I like to say it's already this time. The only time that's a negative is when you're doing something you like. Oh my gosh, it's already 6? And guess what? It's still not a negative even in that context, because in that context, with that connotation, you're implying that the shit you were just doing was so fun you forgot the time, and that, goddamn, if it weren't for the fact that time moved so fucking fast, you'd still be having fun. Boom. Is literally no negative connotation to saying it's already X. It's already, well, I mean, different conversations, yes, but for the time, for the conversation of time, there is no bad connotation for already. Hold on, I think I gotta get up here. I think I gotta get up. I gotta pace. I gotta talk. I gotta talk here. I gotta move. I gotta move around. Because, yeah. So here's the thing, right? I'm just gonna push this chair forward. So we were talking about time and the perception of it. Oh my gosh, I am really making a mess in this section. I'm really making a mess of things over here, and I do duly apologize for that. We're just gonna fix that light, cause whoopsie. There we go. I think that's not good. I'm pretty sure it's my shadow. Pretty sure that's my shadow. Pretty sure. Okay, I got it. We're good. We're so back. All right, so listen up. Okay, so here's the thing. When you use time to your advantage, you are, in essence, commanding your cells. It's kind of like manifestation. You're speaking it into existence. You are taking your cells, all however million cells there are in your body, you're taking all of them and you're going, hey, I need you to believe this. Come on, you tell me that the power of a million bajillion cells isn't enough power to make something happen? Think about it. Come on, use your metaphysical brain. All right? You were born with a brain that has so many fucking kooky, wild ideas, man. Use your fucking metaphysical brain sometime. There is so much fucking good elements in that shit. I swear to God. So anyway, basically what I'm saying is using time to your advantage is pretty fucking simple. So as I already established, I say things like already. It's already 12. We're already halfway through the shift. Another 4 hours and we're done. We already did the first 4. What's the next 4? You know what I mean? And that's how you do it. That's you basically desensitize yourself to the new things that are happening for the aspect of saving time. I do the same thing for a drive. Yeah, I never remember a drive, but I remember it like I remember a dream, because I'm always on them, and I always fast forward it. like mentally. I like to do this thing now too in person. When I'm like, I just did it with Kermit when I was walking with Kermit the other day, where it was like he was saying how long it was gonna take to get to like a hill. It was when it was snowy, icy. It was like, how long is it gonna take before we get to this hill? It feels like we're gonna. And I was like, man, listen, before you know it,